there we go. Can you all see me? You all hear me? Beautiful. There we go, lads and lasses. So, welcome. Today, I am showing a little video about how we've taught our friend Alex how to deadlift. So you can see here, this video is from a long time ago where we're trying to get Alex to learn to bend his knees. That's like the major goal here. Alex, you can see there, having a lot of issues with trying to keep his chest upright while still having his knees bent. Now this is came down to a whole number of things. It's I think a large thing is fear, to be honest. So when Alex has been moving with us inside the gym, you can see their huge rounded back there. You can see me trying to encourage him to move a bit more of a smoother way. We're trying to teach him to start from a knees bent position. He wants to straighten his legs before he stands up. And I actually think it's out of fear of not wanting to fall over. And obviously that's never nice. So that's, I'm chatting away to the camera there. I think, here we go. So there we are. We're trying to explain how to get our knees a bit more bent there. I'll move on to the next video. So yeah, when it comes to Alex moving, whenever he is bending his knees, we're actually trying to get the big guy to bend, moving his hips backwards while simultaneously letting his knees go forwards. Now, it seems pretty, simple to the average person who enjoys exercise and all that sort of stuff. Unfortunately, it's not. It's sometimes very difficult for some of the young guys with any sort of learning inability to learn to bend our bodies in space and time. I'm really butchering this here and I'm really annoyed about it. But you can see here, so here we go. So this is Alex learning to bend a little bit more. So what we've done is we just one day tried getting Alex to bend his knees first. So you can see there, this is, I believe, almost the same day that we finally got him to bend properly. What we tried encouraging Alex to do is to literally stand up tall. That's all we're doing. Just, hey Alex, be a tall man, be a big man. That's all we're looking for. And he eventually got there. We tried doing all these sorts of different prompts. You can see here, this is a different angle. So what we've tried doing here is actually getting Alex to, you can see my mouse there, perfect. So you can see here we've adjusted the handle of this to actually be like almost directly between his knees. And what it's forcing him to do is when he's bending down in order to grab it, even with a hunched back, he has to move his hips back ever so slightly, at least, in order for him to grab onto it. So what I started doing is giving like a kinetic feeling, like a little bit of a touch to the chest, a touch to the hips, getting him to move his body around my fingers so he knows kind of what to move in order for him to bend down and grab it. You can see here, there we go. So getting him to sit up tall, keeping his feet on the ground is a huge thing too. And then as he leans forward, grabbing onto that little kettlebell there. So you can see here, oops, someone jumping in the camera for us. How perfect's that? There we go. Just like that. So we started Alex with trying to get him to deadlift in just like a regular position. I'll put this one, it'll keep on playing. So we tried getting Alex to deadlift in a regular position for a long time. And in doing so, that rounding of the back really came in because his hips just didn't want to move back. He couldn't bend his knees into like a pickup position. He could only bend it into like say a squat position. So the poor fella could literally bend down to a seat, stand back up with, with relative ease. And then when it actually came to him, I don't know what this dude's doing, throwing his shins into it. Oh man, they have no idea. There we go. And so when he was bending down to grab onto that kettlebell, or grabbing anything between his knees, it would just be a huge shoulder rounding. So trying to get that collarbone, that chest up really, really high as he bent down was so difficult when he was grabbing stuff, but he could quite happily sit down. If I got him to sit up tall, he could sit up tall, bend down to a seat. No hassles. But bending down to grab something between his feet, the connection wasn't quite there. So it took us a long time to try and teach him this kind of technique here. And then yeah, one day after you know, multiple attempts at trying to get him to deadlift with that kind of straight back, we finally clicked on getting him to see there, just those kinetic prompts. You can see he's really throwing his neck back there. It's actually not really that good for you. He could bend down, grab onto that kettlebell, and then stand up using drive from his feet. I think we actually lose it just here, but we do have a good rep just back here. There we go. So grabbing just there, standing up. So still a little bit of a curve in the lumbar there, but you know, still you know, so much improvement on what we used to have. Let's see what this next one's got for us. Hang on a second. So this is him just being a cheeky man, so I can talk about him a little bit more. He was stealing someone's water bottle the other day. I thought we'd just pop this in to be funny. Yeah, the progress along there took so long. So we'd move him, for example, into like a leg press. We would move him into like a front-loaded goblet squat. I believe we've actually got that with young Joe somewhere. Hang on a second. Here we go. So we were getting him to do these little sit-down stand-ups here. That was like our first major step, getting him to be upright, chest up nice and tall, head up nice and tall, and no hands on lap. So you can see Joe there is doing so well at it. He is honestly killing it. There you go. He's trying to encourage young Alex to do his squats. There you go. So doing it without hands on lap, that's encouraging him to actually use his legs and bend himself forward in order to drive upward, because if we don't have that lean forward, the counterbalance doesn't happen. Not good. It really doesn't help out at all, because trying to lift, if you even try and just sit in your seat as you are, keeping yourself upright, and then just try and stand yourself up, I can't even do that. It really just doesn't happen. You've really got to get that lean forward and that drive, allowing your legs to take your weight in order for you to stand up. That's what you're really looking for. So here we go. And so yeah, so that was our first kind of major spot, and then we moved them into these little deadlifts here. So obviously bending our knees, bending down to grab that kettlebell there, you can see here. So if you look at that right there, where I'm holding him just there, if you look back at this, look at what we're getting him to do. So we're starting him with his hands out, moving his hands out and upward, so that he's not trying to, you know, obviously rest onto his legs and all that sort of stuff. He's actually got his arms out there, and he's leaning forward to stand up. It's keeping his upper back upright. You can see there. So see, when he's got his arms in here, instantly he wants to be crouched. He wants to be in that bent down position, but by him moving his hands to be out, you can see there, nice and tall upper back there. So his upper, you can't really see behind Joe, but his upper back stays so much straighter. It's so much better for him when he moves into that deadlift position. And then when we do give him that deadlift position here, you can see we start off with his hands. Where do they go? Directly out in front of him. And then we get him to bend his knees, and then it's down to the kettlebell. So it's that change of positioning, his change of how he thinks about it. We've just completely changed up his kind of regular chain of motion and put him into this spot and got him to bend down there just like that. Perfect. So yeah, so that was like the major component, was getting him to do that. Now if we move along a little bit further, him still, we can watch him still in the water bottle. The other major components about this was not like if we were trying to actually get him to deadlift, right? Because getting him to bend his knees was the major portion, because that's obviously inside a deadlift, your hips and your knees are, you know, the two portions that move the most in order for you to pick up the weight. Now we had to look at the rest of the chain, and the rest of that chain holding onto the barbell was obviously his upper back. We had to get that nice and strong, and we had to get him to you know, keep that upright and keep it you know, in a nice rigid position, so that when he does deadlift, it moves nice and easy. And the falter then is not in the upper back, it's not in the hips, it's not in the knees, it's just down to how much is on the barbell. Much better way to do it. And so so we moved him into a seated row, into like leg presses. We moved him into front squats, so lots of front-loaded front squats. We even got him doing like a ball carry, so we'd carry a large, heavy ball around the gym. And in doing those laps, it was just reinforcing that upright position, holding something nice and strong, sitting right here, being able to, you know, not fall forward, not fall backward, keeping nice and solid as he moves, that kind of what's called like a force coupling. So the stuff that keeps his back upright here, keeping this nice and elevated, is like a force coupling, and keeping that nice and strong is what really made the movement go so well. In the long term, getting him just laps and laps and laps, just repetitive. I think Sam's stealing his water bottle here. There you go. And it's just that repetitive thing of keeping upright, producing force, and that translated so much better into his deadlift, which I think is coming up now. Oh no, we're back here. There we go. I do believe we actually we should have his video in here. Oh my goodness. Here you go. So this one here, Big Al actually doing his deadlift. There we go. So you can see here, so staying upright, I use the prompts here, obviously on his, there we go. So on his chest there, on his hips. So I put like a couple of little fingers just on his lower back. So as he's bending down, this should just play on repeat here. So as he is bending down, we're trying to keep his hips here and then coming downward. We're not looking for this. We're trying to keep his hips here. So what I do is I actually give him a prompt of here and here, keeping him in that nice neutral position. So keeping this up but keeping this down, and then as he bends down and he grabs onto that bar, oh jeez, as he goes down and he grabs onto that bar, he just keeps in a much more rigid and safe position. That's the biggest thing, just being safe, right? It's not hard. Be safe. Be safe when you are moving. Be safe when you are holding onto a barbell, when you are holding onto anything heavy, just there. So you can see there, in terms of safety, we had a little bit of a bunged rep here. You can see there the hips are kicking up. So here, hips go, and then it comes up. We're not looking for that. We're looking for the chest, the bar, to move upward first, and then the hips coming up with it. So you can see, that's a pause there. So you can see the hips are down just there. The hips kick up there. The bar pretty much still stays glued to the ground. And after about a quarter of a second, the barbell starts coming up with them. So that's like a loss of force. Like it's a loss of, you know, how much force he's producing in that movement. He could be so much stronger if like all the force that is being put into the barbell actually goes to the barbell, rather than it going through his hips and his back and things like that, and it kind of folding down. That's obviously not what we want. We want him to be every single bit of force his legs and his upper body are producing. We want to go straight through that bar, so it just goes boop and pops itself back up. That's the like major goal of any deadlift. Is the only thing that really moves is the bar. Everything else stays really solid and doesn't move out of its own natural position. Everything stays in these nice straight lines where you can. And you do have a lot of powerlifters will come through and say, well, you know, it's not a 1RM unless your form goes out. Well, yeah, that's true, but I'm not training the athletes to lose their form. I'm not training them for absolute 1RMs. I'm not training them for grinding reps. We're training them to be healthy, to live a longer and stronger life, and you know, teaching them you know, how their body moves and how strong it can be. That doesn't require you taking them to the absolute limit, making them go balls to the wall just to prove a point. There's no ego to measure here. There's none. The only thing we're really trying to help out the guys with is being stronger and being able to do more things in day-to-day life. That doesn't mean, hey, let's try and load them up with the biggest PB possible. No, it's them just being better than themselves each week. That's the major goal. Week after week, month after month, year after year, if they are stronger and capable of doing more without being fearful of the gym, then we win. Pretty simple formula. So, yeah, guys, I hope that helps. I think I've missed a point or two. It's not very good, but that's okay. We're just trying to do our best to try and educate everyone as best we can about the situations that we've gone through, and hopefully other coaches out there, other support workers can learn a little bit about what we are doing and the trials we've gone through, in order for everyone else to take maybe our mistakes or our learnings and be able to apply them to their clients and all their loved ones around them, in order for them to live a healthier, stronger, longer life. So guys, thank you so much. Means the world. Hopefully I'll catch a bunch of you real soon. Sending you big love, eh? High five, fist bump, elbows, and headbutt. See you later, fam. Have a good one.